And the reason it's so important for injury prevention is it runs really closely with your sciatic nerve. So one, it can cause impact on the sciatic nerve. When it gets tight, it can actually press on that sciatic nerve. And it can also throw out your, basically your SI joints and your tailbone, which is kind of these little dimples. If you get that really low back pain or anything like that, it may actually be coming from a little bit of muscular restriction. So I'm going to show you two ways to do it. The first way is on your back, okay? So you're going to bring the leg that you're planning on stretching, you're going to bring it across, okay, like this. And this might be enough of a stretch for some people, but if you can, and if you have it accessible to you, you're going to try and bring this leg up and grab underneath to get a nice hip rotation stretch, okay? So things that I see often with people doing this stretch that I don't like to see is when some people will really be like, because they can't reach, they'll be in this like tight ball and be trying to hold their leg. So if that's the case, I'd rather you either use a strap to hold here so you're not in this kind of crunched up ball, because you're probably not getting a nice relaxed stretch in there if you're contracting everything to try and hold the leg. So if you can do this from a mobility standpoint, because some people will have low back restriction that restricts this, then this is great because your upper body should be quite relaxed and you should be feeling it really into this glute. Okay, so the modification is stride, and you also want to have that kind of ability to utilize the most power out of your hips, and the way that you're going to do that is by having good mobility and good range of motion. So most of us are limited in our hip extension range, which is basically the leg coming this way, and a lot of us are limited in our hip rotation ranges. And if you think about it throughout your day, how often are you really getting your leg in this position or in this position, right? Our hips stay in this little tiny 90-degree kind of angle for most of the day, and that's what we want to break out of, because when you are running, not only is that going to put you at risk for injury, but it'll also reduce your power output with running and your sustainability, right? Because if you're not getting your muscles functioning at their full length, then you can have potential for injury down the road. So we're going to talk about two stretches that are going to be really beneficial to prevent injury for the hips. So the first is going to be a simple hip flexor stretch, targeting some of the hip flexors that actually attach to the spine. So what we don't realize is we have a set of hip flexors, your iliopsoas, that connects from the hip to the actual lumbar spine. So you can actually get mechanical low back pain just from hip tightness. So we're going to address that with a low lunge stretch, and then we're going to address our kind of piriformis and our glute muscle with a rotation stretch. And this is something I see commonly tight with people, again, from sitting on our butt all day, but also one that can lead to injuries like any SI joint dysfunction, any IT band stuff at the hip, and also it can lead to any kind of just sciatic pain and that kind of stuff, all which I see commonly with runners. Yeah. So the hip flexor that connects to the spine. So very simple. We're going to be stretching the right leg on this one. So right leg is back, left leg is forward. Now the common issues I see with this, you're going to basically think, instead of thinking about moving yourself forward, you're going to think about keeping your back straight and dropping into the stretch, okay? So like I said, this muscle is connecting to the spine. So as soon as we do this, we take out the origin of it. So we lose that stretch at the spine. We want to keep that back straight and sink in a little bit more. Now, with anybody with any low back issues, you just want to make sure you're not arching, so you're just in a neutral spine, and sometimes if you find you have some back pain, you can engage the glute a little bit just to protect that low back.